Welcome to video 2 in this series. And we're going to be concentrating on the archetypal empowerment system and more of the energetics and even tying it into the chakra system. So I chose this picture here so that you could see the darker silhouette of the human inside and then kind of the aura or the large imprint of the human, and then like really tying it into that web of energy. This is the closest kind of picture I could get to what I'm envisioning. So when we have our archetypes that are our predominant ones, they take up more of our energy field. Because remember when I was talking about Caroline mice and how we plugged into them? Well, some of those plugs are like really big and they take up more of our energy field. I tell people, so, imagine like they're balls of energy. And if you have one that is a toxic trait or an archetype that's in shadow and it doesn't serve you really well, then it's really big in your energy field, or the cord connecting you to that archetype in the unconscious, in the quantum, in the collective is really, really predominant. So let's use myself as the guinea pig. And I talk about how I had the really strong shapeshifter and I had the really strong martyr. Now, I was a chronic people pleaser, and I then morphed that into having a lot of martyr, toxic martyr. It got really bad. I would sacrifice myself for other people, then not only expect acknowledgement, but then I got this weird energetical kick from just like being the victim, basically. And to, and I would always make sure somehow I let the other person know that I was sacrificing myself for them. And it, this isn't fun work, but I really had to look at myself and do tremendous amounts of work on that. Now, energetically, the martyr was taking up so much of my energy. And think of it as a ball. Now, as I worked upon this, I shrunk that down so that it is just a minor thread now connecting me to that archetype instead of a giant big hose. The same with the shapeshifter. We had this huge shapeshifter. It was a predominant part. I would wake up and most of every day in some shape or form was worrying about doing things for other people, being the reliable one, being the person that you could call to always be there. But it was at the cost of me not knowing who I wanted to be and what I wanted to do and what was my purpose and what were my passions in life. And half the time, some of the people didn't appreciate the things that I did. They only called me when they needed something. And it just got to a place where I was doing things and I was offering to do things. It got so bad when I just didn't even want to do them. There's no way that I could fit that into my day. And I said, hey, yeah, I could drive you there or I could do this. So as I shrunk that down, what that does energetically is it allows space for my actual archetypes that are waiting there in the field to descend down and to be a huge part of who I am. My ability to step up and be the teacher guide. Hello, I'm here trying to impart information to you right now. Could not do that if I still energetically was spending so much of my life force in these archetypes that were for other people. I had the priestess archetype, so incredibly just get so much soul joy from being of service to other people. And I take confessions seriously. People confess all kinds of stuff to me. They just feel so comfortable and they know that I'm not going to judge them no matter what they say. And they've said some interesting things to me over time. And that was always a part of me since I was a teenager. I've always naturally done that, and people naturally gravitated to tell me like shocking things. And it used to wig me out. And now I'm just like, that's one of my superpowers. And that archetype used to be a barely little thread. And now, because I work with it and I've got space, it has allowed to grow into my energy field, you know? So, looking here in all this energy, the parts of myself that are tied in with my purpose, who I am innately and who is my potential and what I can grow into this lifetime. You you archetypally step into who you're born to be more by letting go of these programs, by letting go of these archetypes, these wounds, these traumas, the things that are holding you back. Now, let's tie this into the chakra system. Your root chakra, your sacral, and your solar plexus is where the most of your traumas, lack of self-worth, disempowerment, lack of creativity, lack in trust of yourself, not feeling safe, poverty lack mentality, distrust of other people, can't trust your intuition, inner critic. I could go on and on and on. They're all tied into those ones. And your heart is the bridge, because your heart also needs healing. But at the same time, the pivotal moment that you will start to transform on your spiritual journey or on your journey of empowerment is when you love yourself enough to say, no more, I need to start changing. And that's the linchpin moment. I had mine when I was 29. I could not live with my life as it was anymore. I didn't know who I was. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I was deeply unhappy and I didn't understand why. I was trying to do all the things which I thought I should be doing and was just empty. And this moment where I loved myself enough to go, no more, help. And I surrendered in what I would call an initiation. But back then I wouldn't have known those languaging. And I then went on this spiritual express train, bullet train to just soaking up knowledge. Now, this is a good point to actually talk about that, because this is like ties in with, you know, Robert Ohoro's work where he talks about you can activate and deactivate archetypes. And I sometimes feel like some of them come into your life at different times and then leave you. And during that time, the mystic archetype just descended into me, and it started to take up more of my energy field, more of that. And I just had to consume esoterical knowledge. I did countless workshops. I learned countless modalities. I got certificates in countless certificates. I read countless spiritual books. I went to meditation frequently. I studied this, that, read that, had this conversation, had amazing experiences, had way out experiences. You know, like I have to laugh because you can really activate inside of yourself all of the things that you need to within your brain with your DMT and everything, and you don't need drugs in order to do it. You literally just welcome these archetypes into your life. Because I've had these discussions with people who have done plant medicine and they're like, oh, I experienced that. And I'm just like, this journey that we go on, we have these activations and these learnings and these teachings, you can do it naturally. Your brain can chemically have like the most bizarre things happen to you as you're really allowing these archetypes that no longer serve you to disappear and welcome in other ones that are part of your soul esteem and your soul purpose. So after your heart, you have your throat, your third eye, and your crown. And it's through here that you have the healing that has to happen in your lower three chakras. You have your bridge of your heart chakra, and then your higher three chakras. It's not so much about healing, it's about activating. So your throat is, people think, oh, speaking your truth. No, it's like speaking the truth. It's about being so strong in your own personal integrity. It's about understanding your sovereignty and sticking to it. This is something I still struggle with at different times because I'll say I'm going to do something and then I don't do it because I have some kind of wound or something's still stuck or something's not quite right and I don't keep my word. I clogs my throat chakra. I'm lying to myself, right? It's this new level of activation and it's a new level of spiritual responsibility. Because before you know these things, you go around, you tell white lies from everyone. I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. I don't want to do this. No, you just don't want to put the effort in to not lie to them. It's easier to lie to them. But if you really are doing the work, you're working with this chakra, you know, the understanding the dangers of lying to them, it doesn't help them, and that you can intentionally word things that doesn't require you to lie, and you're also honoring where they're at in their life. It takes a little bit more effort, but the shifts in your own energy field are profound. You're keeping your integrity high. Your third eye, how you perceive things will completely change. So the seer archetype, which is what I call the archetype that's linked in with all of your psychic abilities. I'm sure there's other people that call them other different things. They might call them individually, but like that's where your clairsentiences are, and that's you know, it's your unique gifts and talents as with your perceptions of seeing in, or knowing or however you do it. And this activates and morphs and changes because you learn to trust yourself. If you're down in your lower three chakras, stuck, you know, living your life for other people, not knowing who you are, not knowing what your archetypes are, not knowing how to alchemize, not knowing how to heal, feeling hopeless, um, you you don't see properly. Your third eye needs activating on so many different levels. So there might be some healing that needs to be done, but it's more of an activation. And then your crown, how you're perceiving sovereign truth, how you're dealing in intuitive thought in the moment. Caroline Mice has got this beautiful diagram she draws with chronos time versus chronological time. And your crown activates more to deal in chronos time, which is information in the moment. You process it and then you do something about it, you know? So it goes through an activation of itself. These archetypes are really incredibly built into our chakra system. Now, in the next video, I'm going to actually introduce the Archetypal Empowerment System and break it down with the Self Esteems and the Soul Esteems. And you'll get to see an even clearer picture of how you can work these and understand these in all areas of your life. And let's get to the next one.